What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to show you everything you need to know step by step on how you can get into your first investment property. So at the age of 21 years old, I was able to purchase this duplex, and I'm going to show you exactly how you can do it too in 3 simple steps, which is getting the financing, finding the deal, and understanding the numbers. Now I'm telling you, once you understand the numbers, you're gonna realize that this is the best way to secure your financial freedom within the next 3 to 5 years. And I'm gonna break it down and show you exactly how. So without further ado, let's get into the video. I wanna start off by saying I understand the stress of trying to get into your first rental property. You might have people telling you how to do it like I did, and you also might have people telling you not to do it because of all these negatives. So I want to try to relieve some of the stress before I tell you how to buy the perfect rental property. So some of the negatives that you might be hearing about real estate are the late night calls to go and unclog a toilet, any late night call that's going to throw you off your routine, vacancies, which are problems filling your properties with tenants, or you might hear about evictions. Now I want to tell you, those are all problems for somebody who truly doesn't understand real estate. The reality is, if you run your numbers right on the front end, and you manage your property to a T, whether it's you or a property manager, you're gonna take care of those problems before they even arise. If you run your numbers right, you're gonna have the money to fix them when they come up. And if you manage your property to a T, then you're gonna be able to take care of them before they get uncontrollable. So I want you to put those thoughts on the back burner. They are not a game changer when it comes to investing into real estate, and they do not matter. But what does matter are the 3 simple steps I'm about to show you to buy your first rental property. So let's get into the first one, which is finding the money to purchase the property. Now I'm gonna break these steps down to you as simple as possible so that by the end of this video, you're gonna feel confident and know exactly how to purchase the perfect rental property. I do wanna say before we get into the video, I'm gonna be doing a giveaway at 1,000 subscribers, and I'm gonna pick one lucky person to completely walk through their first real estate deal. And I'm gonna give them my lenders, my real estate agent, anything I know, any knowledge. You can bounce questions off of me, the whole entire process, and I'm gonna make sure you get to that closing table and you get the keys in your hand. So if that interests you, all you have to do to enter is hit the subscribe button down below, and once we hit 1,000 followers, then I'm gonna be picking one lucky person. So let's get into the first step, finding the money to purchase the property. And the best way to get the money to purchase the property is using debt. Now, I know debt might scare you, but if you really understand it, it's not that scary. The best debt to use is a 30-year loan from the bank that is fixed with a fixed interest rate. And because your interest rate doesn't change and how easy it is to get approved for these loans if you have a good income, you're gonna be able to make a killing over the lifetime of the loan. Now, the unspoken rule and the most important in real estate is living below your means and keeping your expenses low. You have got to save up money first off to pay for a down payment from the bank. So the day you become a real estate investor is the day you start saving your money for that down payment, and watch how you spend your money. So first off, the bank is gonna ask you for your income. And in order to show them proof that you do have income, you've got to be paying taxes. So that means you have to have a W-2, and typically they're gonna ask you for 2 years of that income. But don't worry, if you haven't been working for 2 years, you can still get into real estate before then. If you get a job in the same field that you went to college for, they'll actually take your school history, and then say if you get a job for $20 an hour, then they'll give you a loan based off that $20 an hour. Now, if you don't have a job, but you want to invest in real estate, say if you have $50,000 in the bank, it's gonna be a lot harder to prove where that money came from without showing them your taxes. So it's gonna be harder to get a loan from the bank. They don't know if that $50,000 is drug money or if you're laundering money for El Chapo, but one way or another, they're not gonna believe that you made the money legally. So make sure you get a job and you get a W-2. You have to have typically 2 years of work history. So the bank is gonna ask, number one, for your income. For a loan, you're gonna have to pay 15 to 25% for an investment property. But if you're living in the property, there's other loans where you can put less money down to get into it. You can put 3.5% down on an FHA loan, and you can also put 15% down on a conventional loan. For example, on $100,000, you can have as little as $3,500 to get into your first investment property. If you have to put 15% down for an investment property, then it might be a little harder to save up $15,000 for that $100,000. So you either have to get a better job and work, and there's other ways to do it. You can have side hustle, make money that way. And also you can get something that's called private money, and you can have a private investor give you money. So if you take a good deal to somebody, they're able to lend you money on that property. So the bank is going to ask you for your income, and you're going to have to show proof of that. The next thing that they're going to ask you is your debt to income ratio. So what that is, they're going to take your debt and they're going to divide it by your income each month. So the debt that they hold you accountable for your monthly payments are your school loans, your car loans, any home loan that you have, and any credit card debt that you have. So if you're high in debt, you're going to have to pay that off first before you go to the bank and try to get pre-approved for a loan. Now, any bank typically doesn't want to give you a loan if you have more than a 45% debt to income ratio. So for example, if you're making $2,000 a month and your debt is $600 a month with your school loan, your car payment, and your credit card bills, then what they're going to do is they're going to divide your debt by your income. So 600 divided by 2,000, you're going to get 0.3, which is a 30% debt to income ratio. So then you would qualify for a certain amount on a loan. Say if you're making $2,000 a month and your debt's 600, they want to make sure that you're going to have room to pay for a mortgage. And they also want to make sure that you have room to live your life a little bit each month. So it's important to keep your debt low, under the 45% income. The one way that I kept my debt low is I was able to go without a car payment. Some of you might have really high car payments, really expensive cars. You might want to focus on toning that back a little bit. I know it'll be hard to move backwards now. Maybe you'll get a better job to increase that debt to income ratio. But man, if you didn't go out and buy a car yet, don't do that. What you can do, get a $10,000, $12,000 car instead, not a $20,000 car when you're only making $30,000 a year. The bank wants to see that you have low debt so you don't look like a high risk borrower. So the bank's gonna be looking for your income, your debt to income ratio, and lastly, to get a loan from the bank, they're gonna be making sure that you have a credit score. First, it comes down to making sure that you have credit to begin with, and then also make sure that you're keeping good credit. Now you keep good credit by making sure you consistently pay your bills on time and you don't rack up your credit card debt. A bank typically will not give you a loan if you have under a 680 credit score, and that's on the low end. And if you have a 720, a 740, then you're good to go, you're golden. Typically you don't get any more benefits on interest rate if you're above a 740 credit score. Now, if you don't have any credit at all, which I didn't when I first started, here's what you do. You're not gonna have a credit card, obviously, because you don't have credit. So you're also not going to get approved for a credit card. What I had to do, Discover, they run a program. It's a Discovered secured credit card. And what you do is you'll send them $200 of your own money, and they'll send you a credit card in the mail with a $200 limit. So what you're going to want to do is prove to them that you're responsible enough to use a credit card. So you're going to want to keep the credit limit at least 30%, which is $65, $70 on $200 credit card, and you're going to want to pay it down each month on time. That's going to help you build up your credit history, and it's also going to prove to Discover that you're ready for a credit card. So they'll send you in the mail your $200 back, and they'll bump up your credit card limit. I think mine got bumped up to $1,500, and then you'll actually have a credit card that you can continue to build credit on. But what you don't want to do is go out, spend that money on a vacation as soon as you get your credit card, spend it on hookers. That's a no-go, because your credit card utilization, which goes against your credit score, is going to be through the roof, and it's actually going to bring your credit score down. So to summarize, to get a loan from the bank and to find the lending for a property, the bank's going to ask you for your income, your debt to income ratio, and what your credit score is. And if all those three are in a line, you're good to go, you're ready to buy a property, they're gonna loan you money. Now, I know that might have been a lot to run down and remember on how to get a loan from the bank, but I wanna tell you, if you call a loan officer, they're gonna tell you everything you need to know. You can give them your information and they'll tell you what you need to improve to be able to get pre-approved for a loan. Now, I know it could be scary calling a loan officer and talking to them, but just know that they work for you until you buy your property. So they'll literally work for free until you go and you purchase your first property. So they're going to tell you everything they know, everything that you need to know to get started on the loan process. So that wraps up step number one, getting the financing. And now we're going to run into step number two, which is finding the deal, how to actually find your first property. Now, you may have heard that it's a seller's market and it's tough to find a deal, but don't worry, I'm going to explain to you exactly how to find a property. So after you get pre-approved from the bank and you get your lending, you're going to go and you're going to call a real estate agent. Now, I know that might be scary and something you might not want to do, but just like the loan officers, they work for you for free until you purchase your property. Now, since they work for free, they're going to do everything they can to get you into your first home, but they're also working for free for other clients. So what you're going to want to do is show them that you're a serious buyer. You're going to want to come to them with a pre-approval letter from a bank, and you're going to want to tell them the exact area that you want to purchase in. I know for me, I live in Pittsburgh. I wanted to purchase somewhere between my hometown, Canonsburg, and the Pittsburgh area. So what my real estate agent did, I gave her the amount I was pre-approved for, which is $175,000. And what your real estate agent will do is add you to the MLS. And the MLS is the multiple listing service. And what that is it's a website where every house that goes up for sale gets put on that website. And if you get connected with a real estate agent, all they do is get your email and they send you an email as soon as that listing comes up. So once you get an agent, find your area and tell them how much you're pre-approved for, they're gonna shoot you emails of every house, and you go into your email, you click view property, and you see if it meets your criteria, where you wanna live, and if it's under the amount that you are pre-approved for. Now, since it is a crazy market, everybody's trying to buy properties. Interest rates are at an all-time low, so it's gonna be competitive. I know I viewed about 25 houses before I landed my deal, and I got 2 offers denied. So you're gonna have to stay consistent on viewing properties with your real estate agent. If you stay consistent, you're gonna get your first property on the MLS. That's exactly what I did, but you might have to view 25, 30 houses. I was fully prepared to view 100 houses before I landed my first deal. The numbers that I heard at first were it takes 100 properties to submit 10 offers, and out of those 10 offers, you might get 1 accepted. So I was on offer 3, and I was very lucky to get that accepted. And I'll explain into understanding the numbers how I was able to do that. To recap, step number 1 is finding the financing to get the money. And step number 2 is finding the deal, which is getting your real estate agent and getting them to start sending you properties that you can be able to get out and go look at. The last and most important, and it's gonna tie everything together, because how do you know what houses to look at if you don't know it's a good deal? And number 3 is understanding and running the numbers. So once you truly start to understand the numbers, that's whenever the picture of retiring early truly comes to fruition. I promise you, this is where you get hooked on real estate and there's no looking back, and it's a straight path to early retirement. So I said it enough, understanding the numbers and running them properly is the best way that you can land a good deal. So for me, I have a specific criteria when it came to purchasing a property, and if it met that criteria when I saw it on the MLS, I would go and look at it. And if I liked it, I would put my offer in as soon as possible. And the strategy that I used is understanding my market and understanding my market rents, so that I could spot a deal that hopefully somebody else would miss. So what this means is that you need to get out and start viewing as many properties that you can to start understanding your market, and you need to know what those properties are listed at. So you need to understand what 1 bedrooms rent for, what 2 bedrooms rent for, what your area rent should be based on the quality of property that you're looking at. There could be a 2 bedroom, 1 bath that rents for $1,100 a month, that is in fantastic shape and newly renovated. And there can also be a 2 bedroom, 1 bath that rents for $600 a month, and it's in a bad location that nobody wants to live in. If that's the case, you might have problems filling your property with tenants. And if you don't have problems, they might not be good tenants. Good tenants don't want to live in bad areas. So keep that in mind. You need to understand your market and what it would rent for based on the bedrooms, square footage, and what area/location that it's in. So what I would do is go on Craigslist and see the quality of the properties that they're trying to rent out and look at the prices. Scroll through the pictures, see if they're 2 bedrooms, 1 bedrooms, how nice they are, and really try to remember what the price is. And what you can also do if you feel like it, call them up, act like you're trying to rent the place out, and go and get a feel for yourself. Go into the house, get a feel for it, and try to remember how nice the property is. So whenever you go and look at your own houses, you're able to realize what you're able to rent that out for. The more places you check out, the better idea you're gonna have of the rents, and you're gonna know what you can rent that out for. So once you understand the market rents and your market, the rest of the numbers are a piece of cake. And so you understand the market rents. And remember, I'm gonna show you an app that you can plug all of these numbers into boxes, and it's gonna kick you out your return on the property. So if I haven't lost you yet, don't get too intimidated. I'm gonna show you how to find the perfect deal while using this app. And the next thing you need to know is what your management costs are gonna be. If you're running it yourself, then you're gonna have 0% management costs. If you are hiring a property manager to do it for you and they're a good company, they're gonna tell you exactly what their costs are, so you'll be able to plug those in to your calculations. Now, if you're going the route like I am and managing my own house, then you're gonna have to become a management company, which means studying up and knowing what those expenses are gonna cost. So you're gonna need to understand what the maintenance will be for the kind of property you purchase, what general maintenance will be for whenever you own a house, and you're gonna need to plug those numbers in accordingly. So you're gonna need to know your market rents, know your maintenance, and all the other expenses are self-explanatory. You're gonna have your mortgage, your insurance, and your taxes. So once you know all of this, you can start playing around with the rents and the numbers, and you can download the app, which is CDS Calculator. It's completely free in the App Store, and you're gonna put in all your numbers and it's gonna kick you out a return on your property. So once you're on the app, it's gonna show you all the expenses that you can have. You're gonna be able to plug in your loan, your interest rate, and your down payment. And then it gives you boxes that you can plug in all of your other expenses, which are utilities, maintenance, vacancies, your insurance, and your taxes. Once you get good at it, it's literally gonna start taking you 2 minutes to plug in all of the information on there. The longest thing that's gonna take is the property, insurance, and taxes, which you can find right on Zillow, and it's gonna shoot you to Zillow whenever you click on the property for the MLS. So it might take you 2 minutes to find the insurance and property taxes, and then you can plug those in to the calculator. Once you understand the rent, the maintenance cost, and plug in all the rest of the boxes, it's gonna kick you to the next page and it's gonna yield your return, and you're gonna see if that's your desired return. So what I look for in a property is a return over 10% cash on cash return. Now for you and me included, on my first property, I wanted something with a 15% cash on cash return or higher. The more of a return that you get on your money, the more money each month you have to play with expenses, maintenance costs, anything else. It's more money that you're able to put in your bank. And if it's your first property and you don't really fully understand the expenses, then it's better to give yourself a little bit of leeway. So if you don't understand what a cash on cash return is, do not stress. Essentially what it is it's a percent return on your money. So for a simple example, if you put $10,000 into a house, into your property, and you get a 20% cash on cash return, that means each year after you pay your mortgage, your taxes, your insurance, and all your expenses, you're getting $2,000 left over to put in your bank account. So that is a 20% cash on cash return for $10,000. And if you think about it, in 5 years, you're gonna have $10,000 or 20% times 5. And that is gonna be $10,000, all of your money back into your bank account and back out of the deal. So what that is called is an infinite return on your money. All of your money is out of the deal. You have it back in your bank account. You can use it for maintenance, or you can save it up and put it down for your next property. And then your property is continuing to make you $2,000 a year for the next 30 years. So typically if you use a loan, you're gonna have 3.5%, 5%, 10, 15, 20, or 25% down in a deal. So you get the cash flow each month for the next 30 years. You also get what's called appreciation, which is your house is going to continue to go up in value over the next 30 years. And you get what's called principal pay down, which is essentially every month you're collecting rents from your tenants and they are paying down the mortgage on your house. So you don't have to go to work to pay down that house. Your tenants have to go to work and rent the house from you to pay down the house for you. So that's why buying real estate is so awesome, because you get the cash flow, appreciation, principal pay down, and you also get amazing tax benefits for all of your rental properties for however long you own real estate. Now I know this was a ton of information, but essentially this is all you need to know. If you get the financing, you're ready to buy the property. Talk to a loan officer, see how much money you need to put down, and then start saving for that goal. Find out what you want to live in. Do you want to live in a duplex, a fourplex? Do you want to live in one side? Do you just want to rent out both sides? And then you need to find that property. Talk to a real estate agent and get in contact, get on the MLS, and have them start sending those properties your way. Once you find that property, know what you can get in rents, understand your market, plug in those rents to the calculator that I showed you, and see if you get your desired return. Remember, my return is at least a 10% cash on cash return, and that is a great investment. Now, the final thing, and this is where you typically lose people, is they find out all this information, find out how to do it, and then they don't find the courage to go and actually do it, or they don't believe in themselves that they can go and get this shit done. Now, I'm telling you, if you save up and you're disciplined and you care about your future, you can go and buy a rental property too. I'm 21 years old and I was able to make it happen within the last 6 months. And let me tell you, you're not gonna feel ready until you get started. I had no clue what I was doing when I was talking to loan officers, and my real estate agent is my godmother, and I was still nervous to go and start viewing properties because I didn't think I was ready. Now, let me tell you something. You're not gonna be ready until you get in there and you start looking at properties. You're gonna realize that every single property is different and everything comes at you from all different ways. The only way that you're gonna be able to learn and know what you're doing is by going through the process and repeating it multiple times. And lastly, you have got to keep a positive mindset and take the good out of every situation. The second offer that I got denied, I was actually able to find my true loan officer. This guy really wanted to sell his house, and he said, I know somebody that can get you the lending on this house. Well, that house didn't work out, but the guy that I was talking to get the lending knew a lot more than the loan officer that I had originally. So I took the good from that, said, hey, I didn't land this house that I really wanted, but I also, in return, got this loan officer. And that loan officer was able to teach me about grants and other ways to get money off of my closing cost and down payment. Now, don't forget to subscribe down below, because if this was a lot to you, I'm gonna be posting more videos and explain this stuff in a lot more depth. And who knows, you might be one lucky person out of the 1,000 that I choose to walk completely through the steps. So any questions you have, I'm gonna give you my number, and you can literally call me any time of the day you want and any questions you have, and I'm going to walk you through it. So if you're feeling lucky, hit the subscribe button down below, baby. And I hope that I pick you and be able to help you purchase your first rental property. Now, thank you very much. I know that was a lot, and I'm out of here. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.